Hello everyone, James here. I'll be with you in 1 second. I'm just going to put the starting soon banner up. I'll be right back with you. Just going to get myself a juice, Coke Zero to drink. We start in 6 minutes. All right, welcome to everyone. And we'll get going shortly. So good day, Edgar and Marjorie and Martin and Music Whisperer. Whisper. Can you just let me know if you can hear me okay? If you could just type up yes in the chat box, that would be great for me. Thank you very much. I'm not seeing anything coming up on my live stream for some reason on my channel. Coming up on my live stream for some reason on my channel. Fantastic. Thanks, Joachim. Kufuts. Interesting second name you've used there. All right, so Marjorie, you want to talk about gold? We'll talk about that shortly. And Martin, welcome to you. And Music Whisperer, looking forward to knowing what's going on with natural gas today. We'll talk about that. So welcome to you too. And fantastic. And Joachim and Marjorie. So we're going to start in a couple of minutes' time. I think I've got 2 instances of live streams running here, unfortunately. So I've done something weird. All right. Sorry about this, folks. I'll be with you shortly. All right, so the problem is it seems there are two instances of live streams running. I've left a message in the other one for them to come over to this one. I'm not sure where it went wrong here, but nevertheless, let's forge ahead. And of course, I can put this up as a recording later on as well. So welcome to all of you. And there are a couple of requests in the chat already about gold and natural gas. So let's go to those straight away. Just to remind you that a little bit later on today, we have the CPI number coming out, and that's in a couple of hours. Actually, half an hour from now. It's on the screen right now. And this is a big number, of course. US inflation rate expected to be at 2.5%, previously 2.3. Core inflation expected to tick up to 0.3, previously 0.2. CPI, a bit of an uptick there as well. Inflation month on month, about the same. And core inflation month on month for May, up a little bit. So expecting inflation to increase, and that may strengthen the dollar. And it may have an effect on the stock markets. Now, we don't know if these numbers are going to be along these lines, but if they are, then we may not see much of a reaction. But if there's something completely outlandish and different and unexpected, then we may see some movement in the market. That's in about half an hour's time. Let's see if we can get through all this stuff beforehand. So what I'm going to try and do is get rid of this screen quickly and hide that, if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. And now let's look straight at the charts. Good day, Emily Trading. Emily, there's another live stream that's actually running or scheduled for now. Won't you just please type up in the text box that there's a different live stream? For some reason, there are two. Those people might not be able to make it in. Anyway, let's start with the charts. And as always, we're looking at the NASDAQ and the S&P, the German 30, all IWM, German Dow Jones, all of those really up at pretty much all-time highs, very, very, very close to them in any case. There's the all-time high double top on the NASDAQ. And we're not very far from there at all right now, well above the 78.6% Fibonacci. And we're fully hedged on this one. And you can see my two positions, the red arrow down and the orange arrow up. Those are equally sized positions, very close to each other. So essentially we have very little skin in the game here. But I'm looking to basically, as long as we're below this double top all-time high, I'm still looking to this as a bear market. Now, I could be completely wrong, but the fact that we've moved down by 25% on the NASDAQ, 26 actually, with this Liberation Day dip, and 21% on the S&P, puts them into bear market territory until or unless we make a new all-time high. We haven't done that yet. We're heading towards it. And it's also possible we could go slightly higher. Notice that we've got this channel line, or channel. I've got a red blob drawn at the top there. That's the sort of extreme extended target around about 25K. There's the top 100, 200 period Bollinger Band at 23,000. There's the all-time double top high, 22,300. There's the channel center line at 22,725. So these are all upside targets if we should keep going up. Until or unless we break up above this Bollinger Band and the channel center line, I'm remaining bearish on the NASDAQ, same with the S&P, same with the German 30 and the Dow. So that's where we stand. This is a purely technical decision. Doesn't mean I don't think this market might not go up. In fact, it's looking pretty bullish. This is a very dramatic V-shaped recovery, but we do see this sort of thing happening in bear markets. A very sharp sell-off, which we've seen. This is not unusual, followed by a dramatic bounce back, and then a failure somewhere in the region that we're in now. Normally at the 78.6% or the 618 fib, we've got a little bit higher than that, but we're still below the all-time high. So that's my thesis on NASDAQ and S&P, and I accept that I could be completely wrong, and that these markets could keep moving up to those targets, all the way up to 25,000 on the NASDAQ, as I pointed out. So at some point, I'll look to unhedge the NASDAQ. I'm watching really how this week closes. I think this is a very important key week. We've got CPI. We had the jobs numbers last week. And It'll just be a good opportunity for us to settle down. There are more China negotiations going on and various other negotiations which will take place before the end of the weekend. That could all affect the way these markets work out. So I'm keeping an eye on the messages there. Welcome, Emily. I've said that already. Good morning, HR from Florida, South Florida, and Hamza Mian asking about crude oil and NATGAS. We'll talk about that when we get there. So that's where we stand on the markets. Now, all of the news and the CPI coming out in about 26 minutes' time will affect this. And the same on the S&P. We're not quite as far recovered on the S&P as we are on the NASDAQ, but there's the double top all-time high at the top of that purple block there. And if I squeeze this down, there's the top 100 period Bollinger Band. I don't have any Fibonacci extensions placed on here just yet, but I will start doing that if we start moving to new all-time highs. We'll then have to look at where we might extend to. The easiest way to do that is by drawing a Fibonacci extension. Actually, maybe I'll just do that with you right while we're here right now. So in order to sort of project where we might go to, we need to look at this previous move and project where an extension of this might go. Now, what you could use is a Fibonacci extension tool. And I'm using this one here. And I'm going to draw it from the top down to the bottom. Sorry, wrong way. From the bottom. Actually, this is a little bit tricky. Ideally, we would want to draw it from that swing low there. This one really hasn't had a good recovery chance yet to draw the next swing. So it's a bit difficult. What we want is a move down, a recovery, another move down, and then a continuation upwards in order to measure this Fibonacci extension. These levels here go quite a long way back. We could use these. Let's put this in. And we'll draw this one, for example. Let's just see where it gets us. Let's just say from there to the top and then all the way down to this bottom here at the Liberation Day lows. Now you can see the Fibonacci extension levels. I'll leave those on for now. The very top level, the number one, the full retracement, obviously. Sorry, it's difficult to see these numbers. That's the full 100% retracement right there. And then we can look further up above that. We've got the 1.618% Fibonacci here at 6,526. That's a potential target for the S&P should we keep on moving up higher. In fact, I'd go as far as to draw a blob in there because it's also near the top 200 Bollinger Band and in this region here. So let's just put a blob in like that and say that's a potential target for us to reach on the S&P if we are to keep on moving up beyond this double top all-time swing. It's actually a triple top, really. Let's just have a closer look at that, just to emphasize this. So not quite a triple top, but there's a top there, and another top there. So pretty powerful top. And if we do approach that level again in the next number of sessions, it's going to be a serious resistance. And it is possible that in the broader picture, if I put a weekly or a monthly chart on here, that we may be forming, we may head towards forming a big double top. Within that, we have this triple top over here, but a big double top on the S&P and a move down. Failing that, if we break and close above that recent all-time double top swing high, then the next target naturally is about 6,500 and the top 200 period Bollinger Band, 1.618% Fibonacci extension. And that's enough on stocks, I think, folks. So for now, I'm hedged on the S&P as well as the NASDAQ. We are short on the German 30, and that's at least one thing that we've got going in the favor of us, and it's not in the direction that we'd expect if you look at the other indices. This is moving down. We have a short position from there and a short position from there. This is also a Fibonacci extension level, the 0.618% Fibonacci of the move from, I'll show you, a long way back, that swing low up to that swing high and back down to the bottom. And we've got another Fibonacci level up above there at 25,870. This is the German 30. But so far we're moving down. And so I'm pretty pleased with this trade. Targets are channel center line. Let me just reset this. Targets are the channel center line, this Fibonacci support level, this previous ledge, and the 50 and the 100 period moving averages down here at around about 22,200. First part we've got to get through, of course, is this ledge here at 23,300. That's been previously tested. It was a previous double top swing high. It performed a function as a support on the revisit there recently. We bounced off there back to the channel top where we've sold. We've got divergence on the stochastic. We've got divergence on the RSI, divergence on the MACD, and we're trying to move down. Now, I don't know if this is going to carry on moving down. It is running out of steam. It's getting weak, and we've got a topping pattern here, a rounded top. So let's see how we go. We're short on this, not hedged like we are in the others, and the target is the channel center line, this orange level, that at 22,200. And then ultimately, really, if we are in a bear market in the stock markets overall, we should get back down to the bottom of the channel. This will take some time. We may have to meet it up over here at this Fibonacci support level. That's around, and also the 200 period moving average is there right now. That's at around 20,900, and then right down at the bottom here, 18,800. So if we are in a bear market, we should approach the bottom of the channel. Then this not all time, but dramatic swing low created by the Liberation Day, and then a break below there will take us much lower. So that is if, of course, we're in a bear market, and no one is claiming that right now, and I'm not claiming it either. But I do think that technically, until proven otherwise, we need to be very cautious of the fact that we could be looking for another turn down in all of these markets. There's an awful lot of political and economic uncertainty around the world right now, and none of that is going to help these markets surge higher. As you can see, over the last week or two, we've definitely run out of steam, out of gas, out of go up, forward momentum on most of these indices, particularly the German 30. Now, a couple of other positions that we've got on, and I want to point out to you, IWM, we got out of that. We took profit on the long, maybe prematurely. We got out of all of these actually yesterday. MSTR, we were long from the bottom. We got out roughly where we are now. We got out on Tesla yesterday, halfway through yesterday's candle, and that one prematurely for sure on this one. That's moved up a little bit higher in pre-market. I want to buy back down to the bottom of this dip here and the gap at around about $322. I was hoping for another dip yesterday back down towards like $305, maybe 300. We didn't get it, and we're now a little bit higher. So I'll be looking for a dip down to $325, and maybe with a bit of luck we could get down to 320 to look to add those positions back on. We got long at the bottom. We got out halfway through yesterday's candle. So we're in pre-market now. We'll see how that goes. And the other one, so we got nothing else. We got out of NVIDIA as well. We got in long. We got a good profit on the NVIDIA long trade. Actually, all of these, IWM, we got a good profit on that. So we're in none of these names now, only those three indices that I pointed out. And we're also out of IWM. This is one trade I'm looking at, QBTS, if this should so happen. If you remember, we got long on the gap up over there immediately a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago now, and we got short, got out at the top. Not hedged, not short. We got in, we took profit at the top. I'm looking to rebuy, according to this arrow, if we should dip down, close this little gap down to the top of the channel, and this could be a really good trade, depending on how this whole quantum computing malarkey works its way out, and whether quantum physics, science, it's often being invoked as the sort of secret source behind quantum computing. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I doubt it. But the idea that atoms and molecules, particularly atoms, can communicate with each other, no matter how far apart they are in the universe, and mimic each other, is something that's been quoted as part of the reason why quantum computing is so powerful. That may well be the case, but I don't think it's as easy as that, or as simple as that. It sounds a bit gimmicky to me. But anyway, we'll be looking to buy QBTS on a bounce back off that channel line that we broke out of recently. Right, let's go across to energies. I'll skip through a few things quickly, focus on the energies because I don't want to run out of time, and I want to make sure that we got that first. So just quickly on the currencies, we're long on the euro, 2 tranches there, going well. We're long on the Aussie dollar, 1 tranche, going well, but I think we may have to get a little bit further along towards the 1st of next month before a bit of a lift off. Beautiful symmetrical pattern, a little bit too neat really, and I don't suppose this is going to work out according to an inverse head and shoulders beautifully back up to the top at about 0.69. I don't suppose that'll work out as neatly as my diagram suggests. However, it may well do. Sometimes patterns actually are quite neat on charts, even though most of the time the market makers and the contrarians are trying to break them. So that's that. And I think half the viewers, I see 40, 50 people are watching, half the viewers are over in the other non-existent, non-starting live stream. And for that, I do apologize greatly. So yeah, so we're long on the Aussie, long on the euro, and we were short on the euro yen. This one's been very disappointing. We've now been forced to hedge this one. We've moved up to the top Bollinger Band, forming a similar pattern perhaps to the euro, with a sideways movement, a breakout through the top, a fake break, probably breaking a bit above and beyond that recent swing high at about 165 and 166 and a half, probably breaking above there, and the top 100 period Bollinger Band, which is where we are now, and then reversing. I'm looking for a move down to 144, which is where it currently belongs. But right now, we're trading quite near the top. The euro's been strong. The yen has been pretty strong as well. And so we're getting the euro yen moving up like this. And pretty weak, rather, as I was saying. The yen, not strong. And so we're at the top Bollinger Band now. Maybe we'll hold here today, and maybe we'll reverse. We can unhedge, take some profit on the long hedge, and get some more shorts on here and ride this down. So that's on currencies. And then I'm just going to touch on cryptos before we get to energies. We're long on Ethereum, great move up, fantastic move actually. Ethereum's been the outperformer in terms of crypto. Big move off the bottom. We identified the reversal down there. We've been long variously along this path. My last tranche was over here at about 2,500, 2,550, and we've moved up nicely to 2,781. I think we could get all the way up here. I love this bear flag. I think we've broken out of it, bull flag rather. I think we've now broken out of it. We're above the top, and the next move should be equal to at least the length. And I'm going to take it right from the bottom of this flag pole. Ideally, we should use that one. We could use both, but let's say 1.7, call it 1.8, up to the top here, 2.8. So about $1,000 up from where we are currently, or from the bottom of the flag rather. And if we take it right from the bottom here, 1.4 up to 2.8, that's 147. So yeah, so I think we could get really at least $1,000 out of this. We're currently trading at 2.8, so that would take us to 3.8, right back up into this order block here, and that's the first target for Ethereum, looking pretty good. We're still long on Bitcoin. This is now broken out above its trend line again, which is great news. Big reversal. We added some more there on that dip after having hedged some of it underneath this trend line on the breakdown, if you remember. So we sold at the top there, exited that sell at the bottom at 100, just above 100, and added that position back on. Went long, added some more there, and we're right back above this long-term trend line. It's a pretty important red trend line, that one that we're trading above. As you can see, it was resistance there and there, support there, resistance here, resistance there, and we've now broken back up above it. And this line just also shows how interesting it is to keep these trend lines on your chart, because once this line had been broken and tested multiple times, it would have been tempting to remove it and to just ignore it thereafter. But as you can see, time and time again, these trend lines extend into perpetuity, and sometimes they come into play once again. We're long on XRP. That also had a nice bounce off from the bottom of the order block. And we're going to talk about gold and silver. But first, I want to go to NATGAS and see where we're trading right now. And if you know what we've been doing on NATGAS, we've been short variously from various positions up here. These ones are all the ones that are closer to the middle of your screen. We've taken profit on down at the bottom here where the orange arrow is. And these are all new fresh shorts. We did hedge for a while there over the weekend, but we exited the hedge and we sold a little bit more. So we have 3 short positions, all from quite a long way above us, but we have tried to recover today and move back up towards the 50-period moving average. That 50-period moving average is moving along horizontally, and it's a pretty key level. And you can see how the market price has respected it. Not only that level, but also the top of this green block here. And it's a market structure break. And the level is at 3.61. Notice how it was respected there, and there, and there, and there, and now today. And it also happens to be where this 50-period moving average is as well. So all we've done is we've broken down below support, below this triangle, which was an ascending triangle, which should have broken out through the top. It did not. It had a 65 to 70% chance of breaking up, but it broke down. So we had a 30% chance for it breaking down, which is a big chance. So don't bet on these things working out. It's a very big warning when you get an ascending triangle like this. Most of the time, 65 to 70% of the time, it'll break out through the top. But 25, 30, 35% of the time, it won't. And that's a big percentage, and it's not worth taking a big bet on and risking your money by holding in to an ascending triangle. I pointed this out on X a couple of days ago, saying all of these people, and I'm very pleased for them, who were short and holding substantial positions into the weekend after Friday's late afternoon move right to the top of the triangle, very firm, closing actually that candle with a shaven head almost, so very bullish. Little bit of it in the final candle on Friday, a little bit of pullback, but very, very bullish pattern indeed. And those people holding their short positions into the weekend, over leveraged, overstretched, with a very bullish ascending triangle pattern, were making a bad and grievous mistake, risking a lot of their money, in most cases, many cases, all of their money on a very bad setup. I'm very pleased it worked out in the way it has, because it's actually helped a lot of those traders who were short, and they were an awful lot. So good on you. But next time, remember, this is not a good idea. Don't hold into the weekend after a massive bullish up run on a Friday, late on a Friday, into an ascending triangle pattern up into a market where anything can happen. So that's where we are right now. So far, so good. We've broken down through the triangle. We came up to retest from underneath this green flat bottom and the 50-period moving average. And right now, as we're talking, it's actually failed it. Notice that the 200-period moving average, the purple line just underneath where the price held, and I pointed this out in my private group, that we were at the 200, that we were approaching it hard, that we weren't bouncing off it dramatically. We did not for 4 candles. Only this candle today bounced up sharply and has also been rejected from the top. If I switch this to a 5-minute chart, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's that move up today, up to exactly the level that I've just pointed out to you, the resistance level, and a sharp rejection downwards. This is a 5-minute chart. So just going up to the resistance level again, sharp rejection, and that's a very, very beautiful looking 5-minute chart. Rejection, if you're a bear on natural gas, which I am, and many of you are too. I know there are a few bulls around. Doesn't mean that the bulls are going to be wrong, but so far, I think the bears are in charge. And we've broken down through support, out of the triangle, out of the pattern, defeated a very bullish ascending triangle pattern, which is excellent news in itself. The fact that we've broken down below that and that the triangle failed in itself is a very bearish indication that this move might well have legs. So we've got to get through this 200. We've got to get down to this level here at 3.42. That's going to be a significant support level. As you can see, it's glancing back to the left. If my charts will speed up. Anyway, I'm not going to do all that right now, but it's an important support level. We may form a double bottom there and bounce off, but we will be breaking back down below this triangle, this trend line, which we've been above and trading around for some time. This trend line is pretty important on this 4-hour chart, and if I go to the day chart, you'll see that it's also important on the day chart. All right. So there's the same trend line, and we've been trading on and around it for some time. We're trying to get back down below it. There's the daily 200-period moving average at 331. But ultimately, my target is this double bottom, triple bottom. Yeah, triple bottom low. Wow, can you believe it? So triple bottom low right there at the big round $3 level. I think it's going to be too tempting for us not to revisit that for another time. And also, and you know I don't like these, we have potentially yet another head and shoulders pattern on NATGAS. And the bottom target of this head and shoulders pattern is actually all the way down to well below $3, into the 2s and into these, closer towards the bargain store basement price level for natural gas. So could we see this, what looks like perhaps maybe not a head and shoulders, but a crowning pattern, whatever it is, could we see this plunge all the way back down to 2.5? It's quite possible. But first target is $3, and there might be some stops along the way. First thing we've got to do is get through these moving averages, the daily 200 down there at about 3.3. And then if we go to the 4-hour chart, we're right on the 200 as we speak, right there. We're bouncing off it at the moment. So that's natural gas, short for $3. We'll see what happens when we get there. We'll probably go long at $3, looking for a move back up to 4. This middle chart here is the continuous price at Pepperstone. You can also note that the continuous price is at $3.38.39, whereas the futures are trading at $3.56. So quite a big difference, 18-cent gap between the futures and the continuous, which also might indicate that there's more downside available for the futures. We're also short on WTI. Someone asked me about this a couple of times this morning, and saying, well, what are we doing? And I do believe that we've now broken down through this, what I've called Moab, mother of all breaks, this orange, yellow level. They were held up natural gas for so long. You can see all of our positions over the years, and it goes back much further than this. I've deleted some of them. We've been short, literally, since 2022. About 3 years, we've taken very, very few long positions. We took some long positions a few weeks ago at this double bottom low here, and we bought and we got out pretty close to where we are currently trading at the moment. We're now looking to go short again. This level here, the orange block, which I've called Moab, has been a support level for, I don't know, is it decades now for crude oil? Something like that. Let's call it, maybe not decades, 5 years. And we've now broken down below that level, and we should now retest it from the underside. It will perform a very important support resistance function, and we should hold beneath there. I'm allowing for a move back up to the top of the channel. Every time we bounce off the bottom, we've not failed to reach the top. If we did get to the top fairly soon, it would be around about $73. But I think we're not going to struggle. We're not going to easily get through Moab and these order blocks, the 200 period moving average, and my blob. And I think that area there is going to be the ultimate resistance level for this to turn around, move down back to this all-time, not all-time, double bottom, swing low, channel bottom. Of course, we could go further now because the channel bottom has moved down, and we, eventually will break down through there, I think, and we should head down towards much lower levels on WTI oil into this abyss and closer to $50 and $40 even, and the bottom of this long-term trend line, which I probably need to redraw. For some reason, it's gone a bit skew, but we'll get back to that at another point. But somewhere down to these levels, and that's what we've got going on at WTI. So we're now short on WTI and on natural gas. I'm not normally short on both of them at the same time, although we have been fairly frequently over the last number of years, and now we're currently short on both of them simultaneously. Right. Now let's go to metals, and because I'm sort of trying to answer the questions as quickly as possible, I will then go through some of the questions on the left-hand side. In 4 minutes' time, I'm going to flash up the CPI numbers and the results and see what those look like. And I'm just going to check to make sure that I can get that window up on my screen without window capture. Right, browser capture, that's what we want. There we go. So I've got that on my screen, and we'll keep an eye on that. And when that number comes out in 4 minutes, 3 minutes time now, we'll have a good look at that. So that's the CPI number, and I'm just going to hide that for now. Browser capture. Can we get rid of that? Yes. All right. So let's go to gold and silver. Now, as you know, we've been short on gold and long on silver, and despite all the conventional wisdom, we're also long on copper. Despite all the conventional wisdom, saying that they should all move together and all be a happy family, they haven't been, and we were wrong. We were right, and gold has moved sideways to down, whereas silver has moved up dramatically. We've been long on silver all the way from around about $32. We're currently trading at 36. So that's over 10%, about 12% I think we've got on this one. We've also taken some profit there at the orange arrow on silver. I think silver could reach a lot higher, but we've got very close to my first target at $37.50. We've taken some profit, half of it. We're holding the rest for $37.50. We're currently at $36.30. So some way to go, another dollar or so. And at the same time, we're also short now, fully short on gold. I continue to think that gold will reach this level down here below us at about $3,000, plus minus $50 or $100, one way, either side or the other. And with a bit more momentum and a bit of impetus to the downside, we could actually even get much further down into the previous all-time high, where we haven't retested yet, by the way, and these big order blocks and so on down here at about 2,700. This was the big breakout level, folks. These areas here, that one there where these blobs are and the order blocks, and another one further down here at about 2,300. I don't think we'll get that far, but certainly into this zone here, the previous consolidation zone before the rally. However, notice that we've moved quite a lot sideways without moving a long way down, and this consolidation is starting to look a little bit similar to the previous one down here at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Very similar sort of structure. This one didn't pull back much further than we got up to 2,800. We pulled back down to 2,000. Let's call it 2.5, $300 down. This one at the top here is already, I don't know what percentage that was, but probably roughly the same in terms of percentage, from 3.5 down to 3.1. So about the same in percentage, we've already pulled back. But gold often will do this sort of thing, big move up after a particularly important breakout level, which we've seen, long-term consolidation at these levels, a very consistent long-term consolidation here, big move up, sideways, not much of a correction there, big move up, quite a big correction, and then up again, few corrections along the way, quite a big correction here. Now, is gold just going to keep on moving up forever and ever and ever? Well, probably not. That's not what gold does. And if we go back into the past, you can see it can become very messy, very choppy. Even in bull markets, we get big pullbacks like that. This is more of a sideways market, but nevertheless, big pullbacks. And then since then, we haven't had many good pullbacks. Perhaps we're due for one now. And we haven't had one for a fairly long time. So we're short on gold. I'm willing to hedge this one, though, if we should move up beyond, I think that's probably the swing high here at about 3,430, 35, something like that. But remember, at the same time that we're short on gold, we're also long on silver. So that's hedging any risk that we have on the short gold position. I don't know which way this is going to go first, but at some stage, gold will pull back and we'll have a substantial correction. Whether we've got to make a double top on gold or a triple top, gold loves double and triple tops. If that was to happen, we may have to revisit. I'll put a little path in here for you. If it's a double top, we may have to revisit up there, maybe even just a poke up through there and then down, something like that. That's quite possible. Gold loves this sort of thing. Or we may just turn around literally at the top there, something like that. All right, so that's that. And let's go and have a look at the CPI numbers, see what's going on. I'm just going to quickly look at the charts. Okay, euro up, dollars down. Let's go and have a look at the numbers quickly, see what's going on. And I'll flash these up on the screen for you too. And make it a bit bigger. Right, let's have a quick look. All right. So, CPI, let's have a look. Inflation rate year on year for May, 2.4, a little bit above previous and lower than expected. Core inflation rate month on month for May, lower than expected significantly, 0.1 compared to expected 0.3, previous 0.2. Inflation rate month on month for May, 0.1, expected 0.2, previous 0.2. Core inflation rate, 2.8, expected 2.9, previous 2.8. So really, really good numbers there, and probably not good for the dollar, weak for the dollar, and that should see a rally in other things. Let's have a quick look. I want to get rid of this on the chart, get rid of that page. Perhaps a capture. A lot of moving parts here, folks. So let's have a look at what happened. Okay, so euro up a wee bit, pound up a wee bit, dollar yen down a fraction, Aussie up a wee bit. So remember, we're long on the Aussie, we're long on the euro, we're short on the euro yen. Remember I said the euro yen's touching that top Bollinger Band and it may reject. It's doing that as we're speaking. We may be able to unhedge this and stick with our shorts later on. Going to stocks, moving up on the NASDAQ quite nicely, moving up on the S&P nicely. German 30, a touch up as well. IWM in pre-market right up. So these are all ideas that we may see interest rate cuts. Inflation's coming down according to those numbers. And these are all optimistic moves in the markets. Fed cuts perhaps more encouraged by those numbers. MSTR basically unmoved. Tesla slightly up, almost unmoved. QBTS a touch up, etc., etc. Let's go to gold. Gold might be affected. Gold up a bit. You'd expect gold may have come down on that news. Sorry, other way around. Gold up a bit. Yeah, as it should be. Gold doesn't like high interest rates, so that's ticked up a wee bit, as has silver, but not much, just very small reactions across the board here. Ethereum up, Bitcoin up, quite a nice little bounce on both of those, and XRP even better, and copper even up. So we're still long on copper, gold, silver. Short on gold, long on silver, long on copper, long on ETH, long on Bitcoin, long on XRP. Let's have a look at energies. How did they like that news? Okay, natural gas, big move down. We saw that earlier. But crude oil ticking up a bit as crude is priced in US dollars. If the dollar loses strength, crude oil will gain strength as it has done. But natural gas has not followed suit. Brent's also up a little bit. And then UEC and URA, the uranium twins, no move in pre-market, up a little bit on UEC. We got a new long position on UEC two days ago, and we've taken some profit on our URA longs all the way down from around about 21. We got out at 34 and a bit yesterday. So massive profit on URA longs. UEC not being as good. We're still long on this one from $4.74. Currently trading at $6.35. So not to be sneezed at. And we added a new long position there yesterday, day before yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. 10-year, how has this reacted? 10-year moving down, ticking down a wee bit with that news from the Fed, not the Fed, the interest rates, Euro Bureau of Statistics, I suppose. Tick down in the US 10-year. Should see TLT tick up a bit. We're long on TLT. We're also long on the US dollar, South African rand, which has been disappointing. And quickly looking at softs and grains. Sugar ticking up a bit. Sugar is ticking up in sympathy with oil. Sugar and oil often move together. So as oil prices go up, sometimes sugar goes along with it, bouncing off that low, which I consider to be an important level on sugar. We're holding our long position. We may add another one on here, actually, if we break up through. Let me just focus on sugar for a second, because I want to get some more positions on here. We have two relatively small positions, and I'm looking to get some more. But I think really what I'd like to do is to see a bounce above this little skinny channel line, maybe the skinny channel top. But eventually I think we could break out. We did take profit at the top there, rebought down here, and rebought some more over there. So we got long right at the bottom. We got a good chunk of profit. We've used some of that profit to buy a couple more small long positions on sugar. Can we hold here? Looks like it. We've got a cluster of one up, one down, reversal candle patterns there. Maybe we'll just hold there today. But not a major concern. We don't have huge positions. We've taken good profit on that already. We're still short on cocoa, still short on coffee, still have not added a new short to coffee. We've taken profit twice. We got in short there, took profit at the bottom, sold again, took profit at the bottom. Not all of it. On this occasion, we only took half, but I'd like to add that back on at some point. I was hoping at this red line, and we've got tantalizingly close on two occasions without giving us the chance to get in. So that's that. It doesn't really matter. We've still got half a position on there and it's moving down, so it's still good profit. And then corn, we're long on corn. Nice bounce yesterday and today. Cotton, well, bouncing along the bottom here. I do like this cotton pattern, but we've broken out of this. We had all this thrashing around, big bottoming price action here, bouncing up, breaking up through this short-term channel and holding well above it for now, but just making this ledge. I think we'll start moving up pretty soon. And we have good profitable positions on cotton. We've got nothing on orange juice. We're long on wheat, nothing on soybeans, and that's all of that. And I think that's it, folks. I'm going to get to some of the questions quickly and see what we can glean from what people are asking. And we're running out of time, so we've got to get ready for the markets shortly. But good morning, HR from Florida, from South Florida. Hamza, what effect will inflation have on crude oil and natural gas? Yeah, so obviously if the dollar, inflation basically essentially weakens the dollar over time. So as the dollar weakens, things that are priced in dollars go up in price, including natural gas, oil, gold, and everything else that we consume. That's the nature of inflation and fiat currencies. And anyway, inflation ticked down, so nothing to worry about too much there on the inflation front. Ray, hello James, Tesla, what price would you add? Ray, I would like to add to Tesla as soon as I can. I'm very enamored by Tesla, the robo-taxis, the robots themselves, the Optimus robots. I'm going to get one for sure. Pretty excited about the future that we're living in. But I'm a bit of a geek, I suppose. But we're currently trading at 335. We got out somewhere halfway up through yesterday's candle. So I'd like to get back there at least, probably at around 320. We're currently at 335. So if we can pull, it's unlikely, we're just below that 20-day moving average right now. That should form some resistance, and we will have gapped up. And so we'll have a bit of a gap to close today. And did we close that gap? We closed that gap, so that's no longer open. We could have got in long again at the bottom there after taking profit, but I didn't. I missed it. But maybe we'll close today's gap and we can get in at 325, maybe slightly lower at 320, 322, something like that. Or we may just have to bite the bullet and get in with a small tranche right now and add to it if we get the chance on a dip back down to some of those levels that I mentioned. So we may just have to get in with a smaller position, and you know, if it just keeps on moving up and we don't get another chance to add right now, we may just have to accept that we've got a smaller position on Tesla, and that's the way it is. There's no point in FOMOing into it, putting a huge risk on it, because Tesla, as you know, may just turn around through a tweet or some other feud or spat that goes on. We don't know, but that's just, you know, you just got to be really careful with Tesla. It has dramatic moves, and it's a bit of a meme stock, not coin. G'day, Michael Savage from Australia. Nice to see you. G'day, Tanel. No, you didn't miss the NATGAS bit. WK, hey James, I want to thank you for your efforts and time spent deciphering the markets. I 6x'd my trading account almost exclusively with natural gas. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, WK. I appreciate that, mate. And if I may ask you, if you wouldn't mind, if I could use your testimony or your statement here in on our website somewhere, perhaps as a social proof, as a testimony from one of our followers, that would be great. So if that's okay with you, just say, yeah, that's okay. That would be fantastic. Nunal Sapar, thank you so much for what you do, James. My pleasure. Music Whisperer, thanks for the natural gas info. I'm also short. My pleasure. Hi, everyone. What about gold? Damajan, we talked about gold extensively, I think. Platinum. Yeah, so platinum, folks, I don't trade platinum very often. I sometimes do, mostly when we're at the bottom of the general range that it trades within. So let's just have a quick look at it. It's not something I like to trade very often. I'm just going to put it up here, XPT USD. And the same goes for palladium, really. They trade in a fairly similar sort of manner. But I just want to show you this chart and tell you why I'm not particularly interested in trading it most of the time. Because yes, we've had a massive rally up to 1250. But let me put this on a weekly chart for you, just so that you don't get too freaked out and crazy and start FOMOing into this one. Look where we are. Last time we got there, we got all the way back down to 800. We're now trading at 1250, just up into those highs. You don't want to be buying here. If you do think this is going to move up further and carry on moving higher, then look for dips to buy into, perhaps down to 1150, 1200, but not at 1250. But platinum, if you've been trading this for the last almost 10 years, this is what you'll be trading. And unless you're a range trader or a day trader or something along those lines, this is not very interesting, not very exciting, no real trends. This is a weekly chart. This goes back almost 8 or 9 or 10 years. And if you like trading that sort of thing, well, that's okay. Some people do, I suppose, but I don't. I'd rather trade something like gold or silver or uranium or any other metal that tends to trend and move in trends where we can swing those trends. Now I've got to find this is XAG. This is silver, right? Yes. Yeah, and by the way, this is the silver weekly chart too, and silver's looking just as good. In fact, it's looking better because we've been moving up for a longer period of time. We moved all the way up from 22 to 37 in the same period that platinum's moved up a couple $100. So really, again, not very excited about platinum. This is more like it. Good trending moves, as you can see, compared to the platinum chart. So I've chosen silver and gold for now, and copper as well. Copper, I think, has got a chance. And if we see economic growth in chips, computers, building, electrical transport, batteries, whatever it might be, if that keeps on growing, and it may well do for the next number of years, copper could see a really good surge. And if we trade above $5, and we're not far from there right now, if we close above $5 this month, that will be the highest close that copper has ever achieved. And we're not very far from that right now. And a sudden surge through $5 and a close above there could see copper doing a lot more than we expect. So keep that in mind. Platinum. Yeah, the video is freezing, folks. I'm going to have to hang up because of RAM on my MacBook. That's what it is. RAM. All right, folks, so sorry about the freezing. I'm trying to close as many applications down as possible so that we don't have freezing going on, but there's not a lot I can do about it. And I remember now why I switched software from this Streamlabs to StreamYard, because of this RAM problem, because MacBook Airs don't have much RAM. Can you check on NVIDIA? Is the price starting to go short? All right, let's have a look at stocks quickly before the market opens. Let's go back to the first things that are going to move before when the market starts opening now, and we're on the stocks right now. And so NVIDIA, let's have a look at this. So we were long on NVIDIA, and we're now out. So we took profit more or less where we are currently. We got long near the bottom here on this pullback into the support level and close to the 200-period moving average. Can this move higher? Yeah, it does look like it can, and it probably looks like it wants to. We've got an ascending triangle here on the daily chart on NVIDIA, and this might be another one that we need to get back into as well. Let me switch this to the 4-hour chart, and it's not even very clear on the 4-hour. Let me switch it to a 1-hour. So it's a bit of an ascending triangle right here, and as you can see, a flat top and a breakout through that flat top should trigger some algos. But if I drew a triangle, I'm not going to do it right now, but there's the triangle left-hand side from that high down to the bottom. I know it's difficult to see my mouse. There's the triangle side, and then it points into this corner over here with a flat top and a rising bottom. Let me try and draw that for you. Well, I'm trying to explain something abstractly. I think it's because I'm not very good at drawing these triangles using TradingView, and I do find them kind of annoying. Oh, there we go. So something like that. I think that illustrates it really well. Excuse me. So we have this ascending triangle on NVIDIA. As I said before, and we looked at natural gas, the ascending triangle on natural gas, which broke out through the bottom instead of through the top, which we just looked at earlier in this video. So this has got like a 65 to 70% chance of breaking out through the top. It did try there once, and maybe that's just an indication of a false break. But look at that little reversal there. False break through the top. And we're still there right now. So maybe that was an indication that this top will hold. I don't know. This is an hour chart. It's very close up. I don't normally trade off hour charts. I trade off 4-hour, day charts, and week charts. But that's maybe just a little bit of a clue that this top is in place. If not, this is an ascending triangle. Ignore that little fake out breakout there. And if we do carry on moving higher, we should see a bit of impetus on that. Going back to the day chart though, and you can see that the little triangle that I've drawn there on the day chart too. Going back to the day chart, we should then see a move up to the top Bollinger Band, I imagine. The all-time high is not very far away at 153.80, and the top Bollinger Band, 200-period Bollinger Band, is at 160, big round number, 160.5. So yeah, maybe that's the next target. We're trading at 144 right now. So another $16 potentially on NVIDIA to the upside. So that's a good one to watch out for. QBTS, I think this is a really good opportunity if we should get a sudden dip down to the top of this channel and close that gap. We'll be looking to go long on those on that quantum name. There are a couple of other quantum names moving around that you might be interested in, which one of my private group members pointed out to me yesterday. Not one that I'm in, but a couple of these quantum names are moving. That might be one if we get the dip. We may not even get a dip. We may just bounce off this 20 and 50 period moving average here on QBTS. And then Tesla, as I said, we're looking to buy back into this. I shouldn't have got out. I was busy closing all my other stock names, and I closed Tesla along with it. In hindsight, I shouldn't have. But anyway, I think we may get a chance to get back in later today, closer to 322 to 325 on Tesla long. And then MSTR, this is another good one, depending on Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin get another bit of a wiggle on? It's holding up quite nicely and bouncing up now as we're talking. And MSTR might also be able to break out through this top and close that little gap and move higher. So all of these names, MSTR, Tesla, QBTS, NVIDIA, all looking good for longs. And I'm sure there are a couple of other ones like Google, and Microsoft that you should be looking at, and a couple of the other quantum stock names. Some of them are newer, some of them are sort of almost penny or dollar stocks still, but there was one that moved up particularly well yesterday, 65% I think it was. that one of my private group traders was trading and I was not. Yeah, the video is freezing, as I said. All right. All right, folks, I do apologize if the video has been squeaky or croaky or mixed up and not working properly. But I try my best, you know, and I can't help it if Apple puts incredibly pathetic amounts of RAM into their brand new MacBook computers. And if you want to improve the RAM on your computers, you've got to spend another $200, another $400, another $500. And as it costs already about $1,000 and something to buy a MacBook with 256 gigs of RAM, that's all you get for $1,000 and something, $1,200, whatever they cost. Then you've got to buy the extra RAM, which I haven't done, which I don't think is fair. And that's why this computer sometimes freezes when we're running this particular software. Have a great trading day, guys. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I really appreciate it. Click the button now below. There's also a join button below this video right now. If you click that for $1 a month, you can be part of this channel. Tomorrow we're holding a members only live stream, and there's a couple of interesting and fantastic opportunities that I think I would like to share with my members tomorrow in a live stream. So make sure you join. It's $1 a month and you'll get far more value. It's not even one click on a micro trade in terms of commission or the pip, the spread you pay on a single trade. It's nothing. So come and join us, be part of that community. It's great fun. And we're building it out and getting better and better at what we're doing, I think, I hope. So yeah, we've talked about uranium already, Sohail. You'll have to rewind the tape, so to speak, but we're still long on URA and still long on UEC, having added some URA quite recently, a couple of days ago. I'll just show you very quickly. Where is energies? Yeah, so we added another tranche on UEC, currently at more or less the price that we're trading at now in pre-market, at about 6.33. We're still long from $4.70 on UEC, and we're still long on URA from $22. We're currently trading at 34.5. I'll be looking to add some more onto UEC, onto URA rather, on a dip back down to the 200 period moving average confluence and this little trend line down to this yellow block here and a close of this gap. Pretty substantial gap, which is also a gap going back over there, by the way. So it starts at 30.5 and goes down to 28.8. The gap over there in the middle of the screen is the same as the gap here on the right-hand side of the screen on URA. So I would love for this to fill that gap, get down to this yellow blob, or block rather, and the 200 period moving average and this little trend line in order to add some more. We've taken half of our profits on URA so far. Just added some more to UEC. Okay, folks, have a great trading day. Make sure you subscribe, like, and press that join button. The more people that like and subscribe, the more often we can do these streams, and the more you will benefit. But it's going to have to be a collective effort. So unless everyone sort of chips in, just by subscribing to start with, well, that's all you got to do. That's free. And then by joining, if everyone just chips in for $1 or just for free by subscribing, everyone benefits together. So I hope you consider doing that. And I think that's all. Luca, there's to enter the private trading group, there's a link below for my website. You can go and check that out if you want to become a member of my private group. We run that over on Slack. It's a secure private communication zone where we have our private group. But you can also join this YouTube channel for $1 a month. There's a button below that says join. Click on that button. It'll take you to a page where there's a video of me saying to you again, join. Once you've watched the video, or you don't have to, click the button that says pay and pay your $1 and you'll be part of the private group here on YouTube. And if you want to join my private group over at Slack, where I show you all my trades, we trade together and we communicate, we discuss, and every single trade I take, I show you, I log, we follow, I tell you my exits, my strategy, show you my charts, everything. And that's in my private group. There's a link below and you can join that as well. And there is a special discount going at the moment for 30% off, and you can go and take advantage of that. All right, folks, good luck trading today. It's going to be an interesting week, and I'd like to see how this week closes off. CPI numbers came out good, should be positive for the markets. We'll see how we go. I've given you some names across here. You can look at MSTR, Tesla, QBDS, NVIDIA, Microsoft, A couple of other quantum names, Google, any of those names are probably shaping up for a buy today. I think the way it's looking so far in pre-market, we're going pretty much gangbusters across the board. So all so far, so good. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care and good luck. You're going to need it. It's going to be a tough week, I think. Could be a bit choppy. Take care. It's a pleasure, Luca. And it's a pleasure, Emily. Nadine, always a pleasure. Carlos, you put your puts on Apple. Roby, it's a pleasure, Roby. MD. NVIDIA, okay, we talked about NVIDIA. To start short